And they don't even understand what we're doing. We just freeze.
Yeah, they don't even understand.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the World of Grey podcast. In a society divided by black and white arguments, we are here to help you explore
the world of Grey.
I am Kelowna's Cougar Meat Kid Cutler.
I am the Flow Mike Chisholm, and it is a good day when I get to spend time with you, and I'm very glad to be here.
I am as well. Today we are talking about talent, hard work, and the connection between the two and success.
Right on.
So what do I mean by that, Mike Chisholm?
You know what we were going to talk about, hey?
What were we going to... Oh.
We were going to talk about how there's a big controversy that Elsa from Frozen is going to be the first openly gay Disney character in Frozen 3. And it was a bunch of people that thought about it in Frozen 2. And now that didn't happen in Frozen 2, it's being carried on. We were going to talk about that, but we decided not to talk about that.
Well, okay, just real quick. When Mike presented this idea, let me just explain that I'm not talking about this because I have any issues with the community at all. It's because I have so much respect for the LGBTQ community. And
yes.
I, as a straight white male, do not have remotely enough data to even start this conversation. I don't know who's opposing this. I don't know who's offended by it. I don't know who's lobbying for it. I don't know the repercussions on the emotions of society that is going to deal. I don't have enough information on this. Is why I don't talk about any transgender issues, because I don't have enough information.
Bottom line, we're afraid. We're afraid. We've got fear.
I'm not afraid of anything.
I think
if people don't understand,
what about spiders?
I'm not afraid of saying anything. If people don't understand my intention, then don't watch The World of Grey. I never have a malicious intention to any human being. I believe in the non-aggression principle. You know what I mean? I believe people should do whatever the hell they want. But in that, I like to be respectful of any persons, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't like a person or a group, I'll talk about that too.
Sure. But we were going to talk about that, and because there is a lot of gray in there. I've seen people attack the Disney Corporation for a long time about a lot of things. And so there is gray in there. And I think it would be a good topic because it was funny.
I think it'd be a great topic.
It would be a great topic because as I brought it up, Colin was like, yeah, no, we shouldn't talk about that. And I was like, yeah, maybe you might be right. And then we started
this week.
But then you and I proceeded to talk, and we went on for like 10 minutes talking about it. I'm like, man, this would have been a really good podcast.
Right.
But we don't want to offend. We want to be respectful as much as humanly possible as we rant. We just felt that our ignorance might be a little bit our ignorance is normally about 130% about the things that we talked about. We figured that our ignorance might even be a little bit bigger than that. So, but I just wanted to throw it out there that was a World of Grey topic that we're batting around like a cat with a ball.
Yeah. So
instead we're going to talk about talent.
We're talking about talent, and the clickbaity, jokey title for YouTube was "Stop telling your kids they can be anything they want."
Ooh.
So, and I put that because this is, I know probably not how you feel, but it's kind of where I lean, and I'm pretty malleable to this topic. But
I lean there.
I feel like, and hey, my parents always told me I could be anything as long as I work hard. So I have a lot of World of Grey for this subject, for this very specific wing of this subject, for lack of a better branch. I think when it comes to going all in and believing you can do anything, and especially when you have these really out there dreams. So using me as an example, when it comes to professional wrestling, right? It's indie wrestlers are 1 in a million, and
you have talent,
and it's like a lottery, right? I think that.
Speaking of which, Cash, good job, buddy.
What happened? Anyways, did he get signed?
He's in Florida right now.
He's in Florida. Cool.
He's at the development center right
now. I think that you need that mindset to make it into any venture where possibility of success is very minimal.
Yes.
But I don't think that having that mindset means you're automatically going to get to that level. I think it's almost impossible to get to that level without that mentality.
Yes.
But I think it's a way bigger possibility that you have that mentality, give everything you got, and still don't make it, especially in professional wrestling.
Yes.
So I think that just
an intangible.
Yeah, exactly. And just telling your kids oh, you can be anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
I always think of the old Daniel Tosh joke where he's talking about is it Tanya Tucker or some celebrity when he was a kid that's saying like, if you put your mind to it, you can be anything you want. He's like, that's impossible because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a Jeep, and no matter how much I tried and how much I wished, I did not become a Jeep. And it's been 31 years, but I don't care if it takes me another 31 years. I'm gonna become a Jeep. I'm gonna hunt her down, and I'm gonna run that diva over.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
There you go. That's a good joke
already. It's an okay joke, but the point being
hunt her
is
down and run her over.
Like you can't necessarily be anything you want just be. And I know that sounds gloomy, but this is why we do this podcast, and it's about critical thinking. Yeah. So my point is, how do we motivate young people while also
Handsome Pete?
What do you say? Hello, Pete. How do we encourage kids to pursue dreams without putting these not expectations, but this
unrealistic
expectations where, oh, you can just work hard and you'll do it. Well, no, maybe they should have this. And I don't know. I know this, maybe I'm biased because I went the route of having a backup plan, and I never made it in professional wrestling, right? I'm still doing it. I still love it. I'm still getting lots of opportunities, and who knows what the future has in store. I'm only 31, but I mean, that's older for a professional wrestler. So my hopes of that happening I've always been a bit of a realist here, right? And then this also goes into the other part of this conversation that I want to have is natural talent opposed to hard work. Because when I went to wrestling school, I thought I was this natural born wrestler that was going to be amazing. And I wasn't. Right. I was not the best in my class. And I was not good when I came out. It took me 5 years before I even remotely had a clue of how to click things together and start flowing. And now I'm 11 years later, and I feel like this is the first 3 years where even the first year where I've even slowed down to a point where I watch my matches, I'm like, man, my timing's good and my facials are good. And like, I am the first
Your
person.
Your facial is amazing.
Oh, you bitch. I'm the first one to be the most critical of myself and my talent and my matches, but I actually feel like I have a little pieces of art here that things are starting to click together. That's 11 years. So like, how much for getting to those big times do you have to have just natural talent? Like Kyle, Artemis Spencer, like these guys could easily be in WWE, but these guys are just so natural at it.
Okay, well, there's a lot of stuff to unpack with what you just said. The first thing I'm gonna throw out there, it's a real easy one, is when you're the smartest guy in the room or you're the most talented guy in the room. And when I say guy, I mean person, but guy just flows. And maybe that's part of the problem in our society, that guy just flows.
I'm trying to get away from that.
I'm the flow. Anyway, when you're the most talented person in the room or you're the most successful person in the room, time to get into a bigger room. First and foremost. Right. And I think that's a really good, I'm glad that you learned that, you learn that naturally, organically. You thought you were hot shit, and you are, by the way, you are hot shit. But then you got into a room with other people who also are regarded as hot shit, and you realize, oh, there's room to grow. And that's amazing that you can grow like that. John Maxwell is one of my favorite leadership authors. I guess he's got like 30 books or 40 books, something like that. I went and saw him speak. I'm actually going to see him speak again in California in January. Very excited about that. I've seen him speak a couple of times. And one of the times that I saw him speak, he was talking about eagles and ducks. And he was talking about, like, no matter how much a duck wants to be an eagle, it can't happen.
Still a duck.
It's still a duck. A duck is, he said that. He's still a duck. Same with an eagle. If an eagle wanted to be a duck, an eagle cannot be a duck. It's just not possible. And I think that we as humans have these limitations. I think right now our society is testing those limitations. Well, I can't be, I was trying to use an example. Daniel's joke, Daniel Tosh, his joke about the Jeep. That's a great example, because the one that was in my head was, well, I want to be the best new female country vocalist. Not going to happen. But then people would come out and go, yeah, see, we like to test the boundaries of things. That's the society we live in. We try and test the boundaries of things. But I do believe that there are some, I don't even know what the word is, some almost like framework like laws that say there are certain things that certain people just cannot do. And I think that we as humans always try and buck that, which is why we move forward as a species.
I wonder if genetics play a role, though. Like, I know in certain things I can definitely say they do, but I don't know enough. But like with all different talents, like there's
your genetics are pretty good, man.
there's got to be a genetic component. My genetic, you know what good genetics I have? I can grow a beard like a champion.
Yeah, you're a
It's
champion
like
beard
4
grower.
days.
Yeah.
But like for example,
Yep.
there are certain demographics that are born with more fast twitch muscle fibers, right? Which means they are built for speed and jumping.
Sure.
So and it definitely has to do with race in a lot of ways, right? And that's where I'm sorry, it just does, right? And
is it not true?
This is where the controversy happens. It's not everyone of a certain race, but it's more prevalent, right?
Yep.
So it's like, oh, he's made to play basketball, he's made to jump, and people are quick to be like, oh, that's racist, blah, blah. Well, not really. It's genetic. I'm not saying that they have to play basketball, but they're predisposed to have more fast twitch muscle fibers, which helps with jumping and sprinting, and that's what those muscle fibers do. So there's definitely people that are born with talent. I think music is a big one. I've heard interviews of I forget who the singer was, but they were saying that they argue that it's all born. Like you can't just be born with no vocal talent and become a professional singer, no matter how hard you work at it, right? So this is really the question we pose. So Val has a little point here.
Val from the Y.
Val from the Y. I think it's more about strengths, more exploring strengths with youth and then using those strengths to shape their path. So that's a great point, kind of encouraging when someone does something right and, oh, this is good and this is what you should explore. And
it's heartbreaking when somebody has a fierce desire for something, like me for hockey, for example, and they're limited to go and explore those things. And to me, the definition of a society where would be that, I hate to use the word utopian, but that society, that perfect society is where people right out of the crate can come out and they can run after what they are naturally passionate / gifted / have the aptitude for, and they can immerse themselves in that. There are a lot of people, unfortunately, the ones I really, really have empathy for are the ones who, like, take singing. We talked about singing at the beginning. If you're on YouTube, hey, maybe become our Facebook friend. You can see the bonus content where we talk about that. Anyway, we were talking about singing, and I know people who wish they could sing. They have that desire to perform, but they're tone deaf. You're not tone deaf.
Oh, I'm not tone deaf.
And they're completely tone deaf. Like, I was a trombone player, and I met a trombone player who was tone deaf, and I mean, like, he washed out by grade 8, grade 9 because he loved it, loved the music, loved all of that stuff. He loved to sing, completely 100% tone. And you know what? He sang like nobody was listening. And I'm glad for him for that. But he's not going to be singing in front of a room full of people who are going to be like worshiping him while he sings, even though that's what his desire wanted, because he had a limitation that at that time anyway, there wasn't, it was insurmountable. And I have a lot of empathy for people like that who have the dreams and the aspirations, but they don't have that talent from a biological level or
When it's interesting too, all the different psychological effects that this can have. This is something that's discussed when we talked about the Dunning-Kruger effect a couple times, where when you're not an expert on something, you feel like you're an expert on something.
Yeah.
And an example that is used is American Idol. So it's not just the person themselves, it's also the people that enable them around them, because they don't want to be real. Like, this is again what we're talking about. Oh, you can do anything you want, just put your mind to it.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
So these people are awful tone deaf singers, but they want to be singers, and they tell everyone around them they want to do this, and nobody wants to tell them that they can't. Or maybe a couple people do, and they're like, those aren't my real friends. You know, if my real friends would care about me and believe in me,
then they get humiliated on television.
Yeah. So then you get into this echo chamber, and then you get to this level, and then it's just. I had a dream. Okay, so this is, if you want to know my real feelings about me singing and how I really know I'm not good, I had this dream. Is weird. There's a bunch of us like at a dinner, and we were all sitting around, like everyone was singing, and then I like chimed in and sang, and the whole table just went silent.
You had a dream that happened, or that really happened?
No, I had a dream that happened. The whole table went silent, and then like awkwardly just looked at me, and then I woke up and I was like, man, I got to teach myself how to sing.
You woke up and you had a terrible day after that, because that's a terrible, terrible dream. That's awful. Man, that's a nightmare to me.
Toe the line here on
if I start singing and that happens, like the first time I sang the national anthem in front of the stadium of people, I was terrified, because I was like, okay, because I can rip it up in my little box on a karaoke stage. If I stay in my box, I'm good. And I didn't know if the national anthem was something that was in my wheelhouse or not. And so it was one of those things where it's like, oh man, I'm dancing that tightrope line. The people that you're talking about on American Idol don't dance that tightrope line. They're going through it like they are this
they're already famous. They just need a shot.
And American Idol, okay, that's fun, and we use it for entertainment at the expense of others. Unfortunately, what if it was race car driving? Like I know, hey man, I'm a great driver. Like I know,
just give me a car, man.
Everybody thinks they're a great driver.
Just give me a car.
Does. Yeah, just give me a car. Just give me a chance. And I'm like, yeah.
I don't think I'm a good driver.
Don't you?
No.
Really?
I'm not a terrible driver, but I'm not a great driver.
Okay.
Like Kyle would always drive because he's like did not trust me. I once accidentally
Kyle the wheelman Sebastian.
He wasn't in the car, but I just ran the red light at Whatcom and almost killed us because that light is never red.
No,
it's never red.
Were you turning left onto Whatcom?
No, we're going straight through. That light is never fucking red.
No.
And it was like, I'm not making excuses because it was stupid and I wasn't paying attention. I was tired, but it was like sun like glaring in my eye. And holy shit. And the car that was going straight through panicked because if they would have just driven at the normal cadence, they wouldn't have even close to touched us, but they slammed on the brakes. And luckily I have really good reaction time and I just went around. Any accident, my fault, or close to accident, my fault or not, I've never been in an accident because I have incredible reaction time. And I hate to like sound like I'm floating my own boat.
You have incredible reaction time?
What?
You have incredible reaction time?
Incredible reaction time.
You should go into pro wrestling. I hear that skill.
So we got a couple comments here. I got to get to them. So Rob says, I think it stems from...
Pete, where the hell are you?
I think it stems from elementary school. This is where everyone gets participation ribbons, trophies.
I agree absolutely.
A lot of kids are learning not to have regret. Yeah. So, sorry, I didn't mean to.
We remember when it wasn't like that.
I didn't mean to yada over your comment. But yeah, the participation thing is that's been going on for a really long time. Not necessarily the trophies or whatever, but when I was in T-ball, I remember there was a few of us that were really serious, and the coaches would always tell us it was a tie at the end of every game.
What?
Oh, it was a tie. My dad was a coach. Oh, it was a tie. And I remember me and Braden Malikoff.
Your dad did this to you?
My dad and like Braden's dad was my best friend at the time. I remember me and Braden used to keep score in our like together, and then at the end. It was a tie. Bullshit, it was a tie. We got smoked.
Yeah.
We didn't yell bullshit out to my dad because we were like 6, but we were just like, we all suck.
Yeah.
Get it together, everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that is
time
the
to
thing.
regroup.
Like, if we want to...
Regrouping is where you grow.
If we want to live in a competitive society, which we do, and we want to have competitive sports, like we're in competitive fields, right? And we need to know, this is why I don't sugarcoat things for my students, and this is why Lance Storm never sugarcoated stuff for us. It's why my personal training professor never sugarcoated anything of what I had to, and this is why I respect people that don't sugarcoat things.
Yes.
And just tell me if I suck or not.
Yes.
Right. Like this. And on the other end, you have to be able to take that criticism and not be a little bitch about it.
Yes.
Right. For lack of a better term, and not like get butthurt because someone's trying to help you. Like, yeah, I'm blunt with my students. And the ones that have succeeded the most are the ones that just go the ones that understand I'm doing it to help them.
Like Camaro Cope.
And you know what really impresses me? And this is the thing I was saying to him, and this is all aligned with what we're talking about today. Camaro Cope's one of my students who's incredibly talented, even though I hate him. It's kayfabe, bro. But
you created a monster.
I'm kind of killing kayfabe here.
You created a monster.
If you're
how could you train that guy? And now you have to be destroyed by him because he's so talented.
If you love my angles in wrestling, don't watch this next part. No, but I was messaging him and praising him, and he was like, "Oh, thanks, I appreciate it." But it's like, dude, I'm honest both ways. I will tell everyone when they're shit, and when everyone started, they were all shit. So there was not a lot of compliments to be thrown around, because when you start as a wrestler, unless you're a Kyle Sebastian, you're probably shit. I was shit for 2 years. I was actually shit for like 5 or 6. I'm still kind of shit depending on who you talk to. Talk to Vance Nevada. I'm sure you could pull a lot of...
Talk to me. Nope, he's not.
But I will give you praise when you do things good. And he has been doing some fucking incredible work in his promos, interviews. He's just doing really, really good work. But one thing I really respect about him is... And you don't have to take all the advice that comes your way, but he listens.
Yeah.
And even when we're messaging, he'll message something and I'll respond, and then I'll go to give him one more piece of advice, and I can see he was typing. As soon as I start typing, he stops typing. He just goes, "Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna wait."
He's
Like
ready to listen.
he's really patient, and you have to be patient. And the ironic thing is him being patient has put him miles ahead of almost everybody else because he's been patient and just absorbed everything, right? Like
something to be said for that.
It's incredible.
Lisa Marie's on here. Hey, Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie.
Enjoy this oasis
Nice to
of
see.
talking about other things than what you've been talking about lately. Enjoy
Lisa
the oasis.
Lisa
You're
Marie
amazing.
has been doing some really incredible work with
she's an activist.
She's an activist with the 10 cities that have been going on. So go to Lisa Marie's page or Real Deal TV and like, subscribe, share, do anything that helps you link to her and follow her around.
Yeah, if you want a real world of great discussion, that's the one to have.
So we have
not
this
our little dog and pony show.
World of Grey regular, bit of a weirdo. Her name's Jai.
I love Jay.
Jai.
I got a picture of me and Jay all cuddled up. Me and Jay are like cuddled up like this.
She's
yeah, it's a good picture.
It's my mom.
Yeah, it's your mom, man. And your mom all cuddled up.
She's asking, should we live with goals and expectations and then become disappointed and they cannot be attained? Or do we live a life with no expectations and goals and therefore cannot be disappointed, live each day for the now?
That's great.
I mean, I think there's maybe some World of Grey here. He said it.
That's the name of our show.
I said it on the show. It's like, what? But I think if you really, really want something, I think it's good to have dreams, but at the same time, surround yourself with people that can mentor you and give you the truth. And I think that's maybe, and I don't want to like blame not having proper mentors, but other than like Kevin Jeffries and Kyle, I didn't really have mentors in professional wrestling. I wasn't really the guy that people went, that guy's got something. Yes. I'm going to help him. I just didn't, because like I said, it took me a long time to really get it. I think if I was younger and doing what I do now, maybe people will be like, oh, look at that. Now I'm like the guy everybody wants to work because I make them look good, right? So like, it's different. Now everyone's like, oh, I want to work with color because I'm making me fucking look good.
Also, you're spectacular.
But that's what my point is. Like now, because I'm at a certain age, they're like, oh, he's going to make it somewhere and let's move him up. They're like, oh, just let this old guy put me over.
Right. Yeah, I think
which is cool.
I think that's a little cynical, but you know what? Okay, so I'm gonna disagree with what you're saying a little bit
we never disagree. I love when we disagree.
Do you?
I do.
I think that if somebody has a dream, they need to invest everything they have and go full force into it. The worst case scenario is that they're going to gain themselves a whole lot of skills and a whole lot of education on things. I do believe that if they do have that dream and they are immediately going to go to a mentor. So for an example, I like to sing. Okay. I don't think I'm going to take things to the nth degree with singing. I think if I did think I was going to take things to the nth degree, I would hire someone like, say, Ellen Churchill locally to vocally challenge me. I would hire her to train me. I believe that people who are going after a dream like that, if they're going to run into mentors to help them, I believe someone like Ellen Churchill would give me the straight shit, just like you would give Camaro Cope the straight shit. Just like, if he's saying to you every single day, I want to be in the WWE, I want to be in the WWE, and he doesn't have what it takes, he may have what it takes, but if he didn't, you as a mentor to him have to figure out a way without squashing the dream entirely, to be honest and to say, look, this is what it takes to be in the WWE. Can you do these things? Are these things that you can do? If Ellen said to me, look, you need to be able to hit high C or something like that, whatever it would be. Otherwise your range is such that it's going to be really, really tough for you, to gain a following, that sort of thing. Like real constructive advice for those going after their dreams. If they're going to go after it on a high level, they themselves have to be high level, not just high delusional.
That's a good line. So it's one thing. Lisa Marie said she had a dream that she had a daughter last night. That's really funny.
There you go. Hey, any dream can happen. Like, see, that's the whole thing. So your dream come true. Just concentrate more on it. Any dream can happen. Well, there's a biological one that may or may not happen.
Yeah. So we actually don't really disagree. So you said we disagree, but I think maybe I didn't word it properly. So if you want to get to, like, say, we'll stay on the wrestling WWE path. I think you should invest absolutely everything into it. I think if you don't invest everything into it, like I didn't, I think it's almost impossible for you to get to that level.
Yes.
But that all being said, if you really want to get there, everyone that wants to get to that level needs to invest everything they have into it, sleeping in your car, going to Florida, getting out and going to Japan like Coast's done, doing absolutely everything you can, sacrifice everything, your relationships, your jobs, quit everything, go on the road, like at a level, right? Once you feel like you're there, you have to have some point where you cut the line from the shore and let yourself sail out to sea, and you have to give it everything you have. But my point is, even doing that, there's a huge chance you're not going to make it.
Absolutely.
So I think this is where, for someone like me who lent more to being a realist, I wasn't willing to sacrifice everything, because now I'm at a point where I'm making a decent enough salary to live a low middle class life. I still work for a charity. Let's not get excited. But you know what I mean? Like, I sacrificed it to have a normal life because that's good for me, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get depressed and slash my wrist because I didn't make it in WWE, right? But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think if you're someone like Cope, I think he should do that. I think he should maybe not yet, maybe give it a couple years and really like hone your skills and like travel as far as you can across Canada. Start with that. See if you can get to Europe. See if you can go back to Japan. You know what I mean? Like pull Chris Jericho and do like some worldly stuff. And then once you feel like you're there and you've gotten a lot of advice and you've worked all different styles and people, and you feel like you're ready, fucking go for that push and really, and especially before you're 30, right? Like get in. Yeah. But
Tish just says, go for it, have goals, but don't fall apart if it doesn't work out. Just learn from it and dream again. Focus on the positive. I dig that. I can live with that. That's something that, you know what? I think that every single time something hasn't kind of gone the way that I would have it manifest, there's always something that is either better or as good or can take your focus if you don't fall apart when things don't work out. You know, there's always ways that you can take that experience that you had and use it to sharpen yourself for something else.
Yeah. So Val, I'm so glad Val's here. Val, you have a great mind.
Val from the Y.
I was gonna say you have a great brain, but that's like very biological, mechanical.
I like her brain.
Val has a great mind, and you really add to this conversation. So I just want to say I appreciate that. Carrie also had a comment saying that she's always had people telling her she needs to be better when it comes to her aquatics department, which I think is really important. So basically, what Val's saying, just to kind of summarize, is someone saying like, have your dreams and passions as a side product. Sometimes you don't always like what you do for work and money, but that's okay as long as you have things outside of it that as passions. And I think this is a really good point. Now, I'm in a unique situation that the thing I do for work, although stressful at times, is a passion of mine. It is something I really love. However, it is the job I do for money, right?
Yeah.
And you know me, I don't like to sit still, and I always like to have something going on.
Yeah, you're a fidgety motherfucker.
I'm a fidgety motherfucker. So this is why we're doing this podcast, right? This is why, and wrestling's still there. It's still, so as much as I say like, oh, I know I'm not going to make it to WWE, blah, blah, blah. When I don't wrestle, it makes me, I get,
okay.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm working for Costco for years and years and years and years and years. And I knew that that was not what I was destined to be. I was destined to be something bigger and more and all these things. And so on the side of my desk, I'm building a financial business, and I do it over 15 years, right? And I get to the point where I'm making double what I'm making at Costco full-time, part-time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when I decide to leave Costco, I can just leave Costco. No big deal.
Yeah.
Invasion Wrestling, same thing. Want to get back to the community a little bit, tried something out. It worked out really, really well. It's led me down some interesting and awesome paths because of that. But I didn't give up my entire life for that. But at the same time, during my regular life, I didn't just go home and sit on the couch.
Right.
I 8 hours was Costco's. Okay. Yeah. Guess what? I was given another 4 hours a day to something else that I wanted to take me to the next level. You and I don't have 1 million followers, 1 million listeners on here yet we do it every week.
Yeah.
And when we don't do it, we feel a loss in ourselves because we're doing this because it's not for the big glory and the big show, although that will happen one day. Mm-hmm. It will. It's on that trajectory, and He Changed It's going to help with that. And there's some big things that are coming down the pipe because of that. But we're not doing, if that doesn't happen, mm-hmm. we're not going to be, damn it, we shouldn't have spent all those hours talking at each other's faces. We're doing it because it's the passion that's inside of us and it's coming out of us. Mm-hmm. And that's the point. The point is you do things without an outcome even though there is a potential outcome and you want to drive towards that outcome, you would still do it even if that outcome didn't come true. And I think that's what more people need to learn how to do, instead of after work, they get drained, they go home and they're just like, oh, how am I going to go on to the next day? And they get just drained. When you do stuff that is your passion, it actually gives you energy to do that stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of things to unpack there as well. No, that's good though. This is what we do, right? That's the whole point of the show. Yeah. So I like a lot of what you're saying, and I might bounce back and forth a little bit, but
all right.
I think that anytime, like for me, like let's just use me as an example. For when it comes to these projects and passions of mine, they always start with an intention. They always start with a reason why I want to do it. So for the World of Gray, why did I start the World of Gray? Because a couple reasons. I got a little tired of just superficial conversations in everyday life, right? Mm-hmm. This is an accelerated conversation. This is what Joe Rogan talks about. Is when you have a camera going and you and me are sitting here with a purpose of what we're talking about.
Yeah, there's intention, but no outcome.
We're trying to open up. There's sometimes an outcome. We're trying to open up our minds, right? When you're on the streets, a lot of times, oh, what do you do? How's work going? Blah, blah, blah. And I got really frustrated with that. Blah, blah, blah. All the natural things we do in social interactions. The other reason is because I noticed just from my own perspective of looking up things on social media and trying to have conversations online, that we're all just so stuck in these echo chambers, and critical thinking is really falling by the wayside, and tribalism and picking a team is ramping up more and more. So the whole point of why we do this live and why I want amazing people like Val to share their perspectives is because when we talk to each other, we can find some middle ground and change each other's mind and make us think, because we're seeing our facial expressions. Yeah. Maybe people seeing our facial expressions and our intention will make them actually think about what we're saying and not just get defensive. When you see text, you just feel like you're being attacked, and then you go research something and pull things over, and it's so toxic online. Think about all the great conversations we have. And yes, it's a little biased because it's people following us. Sure, I understand that. But people understand that in this on this platform, we're trying to find a middle ground, and we're trying to be critical. And so other people are then putting their critical opinions on, right? And this is why we need it.
Without judgment.
This is what makes me passionate. So to your point, if we never make it, okay, well, that wasn't the point. Exactly. Yes, we want to get bigger because I want more people to think critically. And I think this is important. I think it's what we need in society. But if we just had, like, look, we got 12 people watching right now. That's great. That's a great community. If that's 12 people, like, not collaborating, but like being involved in this conversation. And if more and more of these these little podcasts did the same thing, then we could change the world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think, yes, when it comes to passion, it needs to start with why you want to do it, and there has to be a good intention.
What is that?
What?
No, it has to start with like
this is a seed. That's actually why I did this. If you're wondering, because it has to start with a seed,
then what happens?
It blooms.
And then you trim it, and then you're excited.
But I think on the other side of this, because of social media, there's a constant keeping up with the Joneses mentality. Oh, yeah. And so we're starting to lose the ability to be content with our lives. Yes. You take away all this World of Gray and all this wrestling, I could still find contentment in my life.
Me too.
Because I feel like I am doing something positive, and I have a great family, and I have a loving spouse and amazing dogs, and a great family and support system, and a friend like Mike, who I guess if we didn't have this, we probably wouldn't ever hang out, but whatever.
Oh, it's so sad.
That would be
That's
sad.
only because the world is busy.
Yes.
It's not because of a lack of desire, my friend.
But what my point is,
we should play poker soon.
We definitely should play poker. Is with social media, we get so caught up with we have to be like them or better than them, and we don't understand that those are just people's highlight reels. It's not people's everyday life, right?
My entire Facebook is based on positive things that are going on in my life.
The podcast starts at 11, Deanna, but today for Diva over here, we had to start at 10:30.
I'm a diva. There's a surprise birthday party for a friend of mine at the train station pub at noon, and so I'm going to be down there wearing an ugly sweater.
Charlie, I would have joined sooner, but I was sleeping.
Yeah, well,
Church
of honest. Church of WOG. I know. There's one day my wife hates it when I make this joke. She hates it because she's like just a little touchy on this. It hits her sensitivity nerves. One day, wouldn't it be cool if we just for like, you know how Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert, they started like a super PAC, like a PAC for money, and they started one. I forget what they called it, the something for American whatever, and they like raised a lot of money really fast, and they're like, oh, and they just wanted to make a point about raising money for campaign finance in the US, and there was a troll move, right? A big public one, but they raised a lot of money. Wouldn't it be cool if one day you and I decide that World of Grey, we decide to start the World of Grey Church, not because
Shut that off.
Okay.
Right. Sorry, that was Hardy Boy.
Can
Fucking,
you hear me?
He hit the button on the power bar.
It's because the idea is so damn controversial. That's why Hardy wanted to shut me up. I will not be silenced by you, wiener dog.
Put him on the bed. He wants his bone. He literally shut this podcast down. He wanted the bone so bad.
Shut down by a wiener dog.
Shut down.
But wouldn't it be funny as a troll if you and I decided to like make a statement against churches and societies and tax-free organizations if World of Grey started a church?
So I actually don't talk about religion on this, and I have a lot of opinions just because I have so much respect for Candace, and I don't upset
her. No.
Just so I don't upset her. So
you can talk about religion on here.
So just to float our boat for a second, Leah said, "You guys are great. You never make people feel bad for what they think or say. You make it feel like everyone's opinion matters." So I would just the reason, Charlie, because of Hardy blew the spot. Yes, no sound. Thank you.
No sound.
Everyone's laughing at Hardy. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Hardy. Ruined the broadcast. So the reason why first of all, this is the whole reason we have the podcast, right? Is because online is so toxic. And when you make people feel bad about having an opinion, it makes them not want to have an opinion, or it makes them jump to the side that agrees with them and stay on that side. And then just say, and then we go, because this is an issue with the left, right?
The left.
This is what it's always like. Oh, the left are just like trying to shut people down, blah, blah. So on one side, you have people just categorizing everyone in one ideology as the left, and you shouldn't listen to them because they're so extreme.
Right.
But on the far end of that, the very far left is trying to censor people.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So then people like me that lean left, and this is why I want to have Nelson Creed on, because he wrote that book about the left, just to kind of go through like what that means. Because I feel
he's fantastic.
He's very, very smart.
Love that guy.
But I feel like I lean left, but does that mean that I don't that I just agree with everything on the far fringes of the left? Absolutely not. No. I don't believe in banning, I don't believe in censorship. I believe people should have the right
including racists. Racists should be able to talk.
I mean, sure. I mean, you gotta be careful with hate speech, though.
I don't like hate speech.
Yeah, I avoid it like the plague. Definitely agree.
But I do believe people should be able to say.
People should be able to say what they want, but I definitely not when it comes to racist hate speech. Obviously, there's some boundaries there, right?
We should be able to boo them.
But people like Alex Jones should not be pulled off because he's a conspiracy theorist. He should be, if he's doing something that's borderline criminal, he should definitely be brought to trial. He should go through the proper channels. Yeah. But I'm a big believer.
That guy's got talent.
Jimmy Dore has.
That guy's following his dreams.
Jimmy Dore has a really good line saying the answer to bad speech is not censorship; it's more speech. Right? I feel like we're getting a little bit off topic though.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I don't know. What does everyone? I mean, we've had some good discussion so far. What does everybody think is
talent?
With talent, should we just go with what we're naturally born to do, or if you're really passionate about something, should you just work really hard? Or, I mean,
well, you know what? It's that 4-minute mile thing, right? Like everyone thought the 4-minute mile was impossible, and then somebody did it, and then 20 other people did it right away. And what we got here?
Carrie, it went off sound when we started mentioning church.
Oh, well.
like the FBI just shut us down.
Oh my gosh. Man, that was a manufactured dramatic moment.
Could you imagine if we got so controversial that the government shut us down?
I can imagine that, and I hope it happens at some point.
And then we get assassinated. That'd be cool. I'd be cool going out like that.
Really?
That'd be it, just like that.
Oh, I'd be sad. We wouldn't be playing poker anymore.
That's me getting assassinated.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Jeffrey Epstein? See, remember? I just did the...
How's my acting? Good?
Yeah.
Epstein didn't kill himself. Just remember that.
That's right.
I would like to do a podcast on that, just because I watched that Prince Charles interview, and man, I had some things to say.
Is it Prince Charles or Prince
Andrew? Prince Andrew, not Prince Charles. Prince Andrew.
Our ignorance knows no bounds.
Yes.
It's so ignorant. Okay, you can. I'll keep talking. You can, unless you've read that and then you want to talk about that.
Okay. I think we're getting close to wrapping this bad boy up, anyways. And then we'll do a little after thing.
After party.
Yeah.
World of Gray after party.
Charlie has
World of Gray.
Charlie, stick around. I'm gonna talk about that after we're done with this topic.
The after party.
Because I just think it's important that outside of this topic that we all continue on with anything we want to talk about, because that is why we exist, because we're all just a bunch of people living in a society divided by black and white arguments, and we're here before we go live, after we go live, if you meet us on the streets, if you were at a grocery store, if we're in a pumpkin patch, in a spin class, as long as the music's not too loud and I can hear you because I have terrible hearing, but we're here to explore the world of gray. Thank you all for joining us on the YouTube.
Bye, YouTube. We love you.
Peace
and love, YouTube.
Love.
Later, yo. How long was that podcast?
40 minutes.